This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the Boss Rush family of podcasts, head to bossrush.net or our Patreon at patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is the PC Muscle Race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Come on down.
What's poppin'?
I was waiting for it. I was going to slap you. I was going to figure out how to boot you from the podcast.
I swear, you were so hurt last week.
I was.
I was like, I'm gonna make this man wait.
Man. Yeah.
Oh, I'm such a tease, aren't I?
Yes, you are. But some of us like a tease. Not me.
Who? Not this guy. Speaking of teases, Mad Pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Nah, I just kind of lay it all out on the table. I'm not that exciting. Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Glad you're here.
Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Host.
I'm always here, so. Yeah.
The host with the most.
Yeah, not. Also joining us is PK Power Pat Klein with his clipper zipper. I don't know what you said before we started, but it was weird. Hello, Pat.
I'm a snipping tool.
Yeah, whatever. What are you snipping?
I posted in the docket what I snipped.
Okay, well.
But
should I
hi,
be concerned,
everybody.
Pat?
Huh?
Should I be concerned if I open this
Always.
doc? Am I going to be concerned about what you snipped, clipped?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That kind of laugh.
Yeah.
You know what game is good though? Snipper clips. On
Yes.
Switch. Very good. Very fun. It's not fun by yourself though. So
Is snipping ever fun by yourself?
depends on what you're doing.
Especially scissoring. Is that ever fun by yourself?
Oh,
I don't
no.
know. How?
We're 3 minutes in, Pat. Barely. I mean, more like 2 because LeRon gave a 60-second love fest to Andre. So
We do love you,
Did I?
Andre.
I did.
I don't know.
We miss you.
One of us misses you. Just
Crazy.
kidding. I haven't talked to Andre in forever. I kind of miss him.
Okay. So I was wondering if you guys had saw that.
Yeah.
Like that's me and Andre's relationship now. Now it's just the two of us.
Just the
The
two of us.
I
That should be the theme song
miss-
to the
I
pod.
miss when Crossroads was like a threesome and a quartet and sometimes it became an orgy. So yeah, I miss it.
I don't know. Threesomes are overrated sometimes.
Yeah, I saw a
threesomes-
cool. Not
No,
cool.
threesomes are fun. Threesomes are fun.
Mm.
It's a lot of
Don't-
work.
don't-
It's a lot of
don't
work.
let me- How's it a lot of work?
It's too much work.
Listen,
It's over too soon. I'm sorry. Porn makes it
I
unrealistic.
saw on a dating profile says threesomes, no thanks. If I wanted to go disappoint 2 other people, I'd invite my family over for dinner.
Ha!
Hee hee.
Man.
That's a good one.
Anyway,
Oh man, good times. Guess that's a after dark topic for another week.
well, I think that's it, right? There's no after dark tonight, so we need to get all of that out of our
I know.
system.
You got to get all the energy out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh man,
It's
Is everybody
August.
doing it? Yeah, is everybody doing it? Yeah, I know it's August already. Isn't that crazy? It's August 2nd, which is ridiculous. I don't like it, but here we are.
We're just that much closer to gaming season again.
Yeah.
Again? Oh, you mean like the fall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think all the games that I really want to play are out except for Mario at this point.
But I'm also kind of thinking about there will be fall announcements. I am enjoying the summer lull, although a lot of the games that I like this year has come out in the summer, so I'm very busy. But just the news cycle, I think, is on the slower side.
Yeah.
So that's great. Because once like Nintendo does their September Direct, and then their Sony does theirs, it's just gonna pick back up again.
Yeah.
Any idea? Any ideas what may be coming our way in that direct?
Nothing for you.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure of that.
probably a lot
I
of
think
ports.
Mm-hmm. Zelda. The rumor is there's a Zelda game coming before the end of the year.
Do you think they were talking about the Oracle games though? Because the
No.
Oracle announcement came out after that tweet.
No. Jeff Grubb said it was some sort of port or remake he's heard.
Well, don't you consider NSO a port, so to speak? I'm not
I don't.
educated. Okay.
I call that an emulator.
I feel like Nintendo already has their fall lineup. I can't imagine them getting anything else out before winter.
I mean, I bet a Metroid Prime something comes out. 2 or 3 will come out before the end of the year. Well, 2 probably, and then 3 next year, early next year.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of bangers. I think they'll follow up from like 2 directs ago when they were talking about like, was it Professor Layton, Fantasy Life I, or like some of the ones that they announced way back that they didn't mention last. Like, I think there's going to be like a lot of follow up news, which is fine.
And we don't really have any like confirmation or anything about Batten Kato's Origins collection.
Oh, that's coming out in September.
I know, but like I wonder if that's going to be like and it's out now digitally because America, we hate you not putting a physical copy out.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a physical copy, go to Play Asia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious to see when Sony's going to have their next showcase, because I know they got Spider-Man 2, but other than that, like I feel like I would say they gotta showcase something, but I guess that's not a rule, right?
Yeah, I mean they've sold 40 million units with like 5 games, so
True.
But
they gotta promote that queue.
I mean, technically less than that if you count the cross-gen titles. So. I mean, it's not.
Don't forget they have to reveal The Last of Us Part 2 remake.
I know. It's just in the Horizon 1 remake, which is supposedly in development too.
Jesus Christ! Give
and
games
a remake
time to breathe.
And a remake of Uncharted 1 is also supposedly in the works. So.
Okay, I could appreciate that one at least. That's 2 gens.
Wait, that is out of left field. Shit.
Dude, that's been rumored forever, man.
I didn't know about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait, Pat, go back. What did you say just now?
I said that's at least 2 gens. So, that I could see.
The Last of Us with 2 gens.
No, Uncharted 1.
Yeah, The Last of Us was out.
We're talking about
also 2 gens ago.
No, we're talking about Last of Us Part 2.
Part 2. There's a heavy rumor that they're remaking
that.
No, well, they're making a PlayStation 5 version of it.
Okay. Using the same engine that they did for the 1 remake.
Yeah. Oh, man. Look, if good on them, Less work, more money.
Yeah. Oh, and
like a dream.
If they were smart, they would hold it off for 2 years and wait for the season.
Well, I mean that's probably. I wonder if that's when that Factions game is going to come out, though, or Part 3, which is also
got canceled.
It's not canceled.
It's not canceled.
I thought they removed most of the team.
They're changing the scope of the project, but it's still in development. But Part 3 is supposedly in development now. So, which shocker, not surprised. I mean, from everything that I've heard, like they could have left 1 alone, but now that 2 exists, they need a 3rd one to wrap it up. Is what I've heard. So, I don't know.
Actually, give Ellie a happy ending, even though she fucked herself in that second one.
I didn't play the second one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Anyway, Spider-Man 2 is coming also. People are excited for that, I hear.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So
I'm so excited. I'm replaying Part 1. Well, I'm actually playing Part 1 because I never beat it.
That's
and
fair.
I'm going to roll right into Miles Morales right after it.
Aren't you going to be Spider-Man'd out, though, by the time 2 comes out?
No, sir.
Yeah. The story in 1's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
That's what I hear. I didn't finish it.
So good.
I played like 5 hours of it, and I was like, I'm good. I've played this before.
Wow. Choo Choo Charles is still the top rated the most viewed review for the 4th month in a row for the Boss Rush website. Can people just stop with Choo Choo Charles?
No, they like that. They like it.
Hey! I blame you for this, Stephanie.
Yeah,
Steph, you may be the person who single-handedly gives Choo Choo Charles a sequel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real.
Well, they did leave it with a cliffhanger, so for those that still have yet to play the phenomenon known as Choo Choo Charles, check it out on Steam.
Are they going to call it Choo 2 Charles?
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, you can have that for free.
Oh no!
That's a free one.
Pat, please tell us what you've been playing this past week.
Oh man, I have been playing a bucket metric ton of games, and actually, I completed 4 games this weekend.
Damn.
Yep. Granted, some of these I've been working on for a little bit, but 2 of them are brand new. So let's get that ball rolling. First game I beat, Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 was awesome. Very good. Highly recommend it. Best Pikmin game out there.
Did you play the extra levels after the credits?
Yep, I 100%ed that. I got all the treasures, got all the castaways.
Nice.
Yep. Cured everybody. All the leafings.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Leaflings. Yep. So I highly recommend it. There's so much to do in the end game. Like the credits don't even give you like half of the game. Like the more meatier portions like after the credits roll.
Sounds like Odyssey a little bit in that way.
Yeah. So I highly recommend not just playing through to the credits, but after the credits, so you get to enjoy it to its fullest.
How many when I say areas are there before credits roll?
There's 4 areas before credits roll. 6 areas in the game total.
Okay, so I've unlocked the 3rd level. It's funny, like I easily unlock the next area, but I'm like not even. Usually, I'm only at like a 3rd complete. I'm like, well, I'm not going there yet.
Yeah, Area 4 is going to be one of the areas that you're going to almost have completely done before you beat the game, because there are 3 specific treasures you have to find to unlock the last part of it. It's kind of cool how they did that. But, yep.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So that's game number 22 of my 40 goal. Game number 23 is Disney's Illusion Island. It came out on the Switch this Friday, and it is a Metroidvania that focuses on the platforming and not the combat of Metroidvanias.
You beat it that fast?
It's not that long. It's like 10 hours to complete it. 100%.
Is it worth the price tag?
I mean, it's only $40. So.
I see what you did there. The game is average, I will say. Like, it's good. It's like a good average game. It doesn't do anything really wrong, but at the same time, it's not anything super memorable. The best parts of the game, I would say, are the animations, the cutscenes that happen. Like, they're super funny. This is made by the same team that did Battletoads. So there's a lot of Delilah was the ones that actually made Battletoads, and Rare kind of let them, play with their property. So same developers, so it's the same animation style, same kind of like tongue-in-cheek humor that both kids and adults will find hilarious.
Nice.
And in terms of like difficulty, it's not really hard at all. Like, you could lose all your lives, but the checkpoint system is very generous. So you won't lose like much progress if you end up like losing all your hearts. But with that said, it's a lot of the levels tended to blend together, which made it, I guess, with dock points for a Metroidvania. They claim they have 3 biomes, and other than those 3 biomes, like, they're huge, but they're not like very like the backgrounds they kind of just blend, I guess. There's nothing just too unique about them.
So it's a game that it doesn't, like, it's not there's nothing really innately wrong with it, and it does what it's supposed to do, but it's nothing special, quote unquote. Like it doesn't do anything terribly
Yeah.
exciting. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
like even in terms of like the collectibles, only one of the collectibles actually gives you power ups. Everything else is just more like memorabilia and oh hey, you found it. Cool. There's not yeah, they give you a little special reward at the very end, but if I actually haven't seen the completionist review, but I can only imagine he might have been disappointed with the collections in this himself. But I don't know. I'd have to check that review out to see if he would enjoy it. But as a collector myself, it'd be very lackluster.
Is it a $60 game?
$40.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. But again, it's not bad.
Mhm.
It's just there are other things you might want to, if you have on your list,
You
play
know,
them
I
first.
I bet you if that game came out on a slower year, like pandemic year, I feel like maybe it would be talked about more. But for a year like 2023, yikes.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
hey, Corey, you played a little bit, right?
Yeah, I played like let's see. I played like the first maybe hour of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually actually really hate the art style. I hate the way the characters are designed. They're
Oh, okay.
just because like they already have like a new design
Oh,
for Mickey Mouse like that they just came out with like 5 or 6 years ago that's like really popular on Disney Plus called The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse. I think they just released their last episode of that recently. And like I wish they would have used that art style because it would have been consistent with what they're promoting right now. Like they have 2 theme park rides that are based on this art style. They have like multiple short movies slash 2 TV series with this art style. It just I hate the way the characters look. It looks like some sort of knockoff art style. But that said, like the game actually like the movement in the game actually feels pretty good. The story is whatever. Uh, but I think the movement feels good. The platforming feels good. I think that this is kind of like this type of game would be aimed more towards like somebody who is kind of familiar with video games but doesn't want a hard game to play. There's no combat in the game whatsoever. So it's all about the
Wait,
exploration and stuff.
what?
So,
Wait, that's all you do? Just explore?
yeah, I mean they
Yeah.
have like special abilities and stuff at some point,
Yeah.
and
Bad guys generally you can't touch. If you touch a bad guy, they will hurt you.
mhm.
So you have no way to fight. And there are boss fights, but they're essentially puzzles
C
and able
minus.
to injure them.
Yeah. So it's I mean it's not it's not aimed for 30 and 40-year-olds who have been playing games for that long, right? It's aimed for
Yeah,
it's aimed for
apparently.
kids. The
I
other thing
can't
too is
imagine saying for kids though either, because it's a Metroidvania. It's so easy to get lost.
yeah, but I
That's
mean
that's like
I think
not.
it's meant for parents to play with their kids because it's multiplayer.
I could see that.
It's 4-player couch co-op multiplayer, and I think they're trusting that the parent would help the child kind of move through the world with them.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fine. I think it's ugly. I bought it because I thought it would be fun to play. So
Yeah. I will agree with Corey. The gameplay is actually top notch. The platforming is very smooth
mhm.
for what it does. So they got that right for sure.
Yeah, I have to say, it is a little weird that they use the term illusion because if you grew up playing like Castle of Illusion or some of these other games that have the word illusion in them, like there was an Epic Mickey game that had what was the Epic Mickey game for 3DS had the term illusion in it. They're like hard platformers, right? They're like really challenging, and like they use the term illusion without like invoking what they think that means to long time, especially people who grew up on Sega Genesis, right? So I don't know. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just something that I noticed. Like I thought this game was going to be like a challenging kind of platformer, and it's not really. So
If you do collect everything, you can unlock something called the Iron Mouse mode, which is you die, you have it ends the game. So that could definitely be challenging, and it's not something I plan on doing.
Oh, it's like Metal Gear. It's like Metal Gear Solid's European Extreme mode.
Probably.
you get spotted. It's game over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's game number 23. Game number 24 was Pikmin 2, and let me tell you, I absolutely hated it by the end of the game.
Oh, wow.
No.
Like, seriously, it's amazing how the final level, just how it was designed, made me rage and hate it that
Wow.
much. Like, it was cheap, it was long, and I found myself restarting over and over, and I actually went through the dungeon 3 freaking times just to be able to get enough Pikmin to survive the final boss and collect the treasures, because you needed at least 30 to pick up a treasure at the end of the map, and the final boss tended to annihilate your team. If you even had a team at that point. Like, seriously, that dungeon was absolute garbage, and I seriously almost quit so many times.
Wow.
Before the credits rolled on that game, it was a great game, but that post-game area, just no.
That's what I'm kind of nervous about as like a first, like Pikmin 4 being my first entry into the franchise. Like I pre-ordered Pikmin 1 and 2 just to kind of complete the set, but I'm a little nervous. When you join a franchise much later, sometimes I do feel like it can be challenging to go backward. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Pikmin 1, had its challenges, but at least I felt like Pikmin 1 was fair. Pikmin 2, like, that last area just was brutal. So, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think at least you get to enjoy yourself by playing the best Pikmin in Pikmin 4.
Yeah, I think that Pikmin 2, I feel like Pikmin 1 and 2, which is why I'm so afraid to go back and play them now, is like they were amazing at the time, and I just don't want to be disappointed when I go to play them.
Yeah, no, I seriously almost wanted to rage quit.
Yeah.
But I beat it, and I got all the treasures, so I considered that done, and game number 24 out of 40.
Nice.
Finally, game number 25.
Oh boy.
Which literally actually you can beat in 1 hour, is on Game Pass right now, and it's called Venba.
Yeah, that's next on my list. And so
What
excited.
is it called?
Venba.
Explain this game.
It's a indie game that was on like Wholesome Direct, Nintendo Direct. Pat, take it away.
It was a Wholesome Direct. In fact, they even at the end of the game credits, they even thank Wholesome Direct game or Wholesome Games.
Yes.
But the game is about a Tamil woman who moves to Canada with her husband to kind of get a new life, and she has this dilemma of losing her culture while living in another culture, and she tries to reconnect with her culture through making food. So you get these little mini games where you kind of make these different tamal dishes. I want to say tamalian, but I don't think that's actually a word. Tamal, which is a subculture in India and Sri Lanka, and this. You get these recipes. You kind of have to figure them out a little bit because the recipe book was from her mom and it's kind of destroyed. And once you do that, there's more. It's a very visual game. Like, it's mostly a story, but it's got these little like mini games with food in it. But it is super short. It's a very good story. My gripe is, because it's so short, I didn't really get to like connect with the characters as much as I would have loved to have connected with it. Like, by the time you got to know them, the story was done.
Yeah, I was surprised that you said it was as short as it was, because as much as I could use shorter games as a break from the longer epics like Final Fantasy and Zelda, like as you could see, LeRon and Corey, like why I'm like even super excited to play this game, because not only is it an indie game, but it's kind of being a cultural transplant and bonding with family through food, which I resonate so much. I'm hoping, Pat, like maybe, I don't know, I doubt it, but maybe it'll garner enough like attention, or at least, I don't know, sell well enough to maybe make a DLC.
Um, I mean, possible, but I don't know. Like, honestly, I felt like the story had a good conclusion
Okay.
to it. So I don't know what they could do much. I mean, I guess they could tell other stories in it, but in reality, like it's just a short game, but it was good. Like, if you want at least a short story to just kind of
Hmm.
you know drive like your thoughts in a different direction for a little bit, it's only an hour and a half. You can beat it, even shorter if you just skip through the dialogue.
Hmm.
But it's on Game Pass, so you're only losing 15 $15 a month.
Yeah. It's actually 16 now.
16, whatever. Still a small price.
I know. Oh, man. Good times. Stephanie, what are you playing?
Sorry, you caught me muting myself to tell my
Yeah.
son to go to bed. Sorry.
I
Um,
almost rewound and be like, LeRon, what are you playing?
no, it's okay. I mean, my list is fairly short, so I'm focusing on two games right now. That's Pikmin 4 and Final Fantasy 16. I mean, I knew I wasn't necessarily an end game for Final Fantasy, but um, there's a part of the game where it says, "Oh, once you progress here, you won't be able to go back." So I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's usually when you're near the end." And when I texted Pat like where I was, he was, "You're not even like a third way there." I'm like, "Dang it!" So
It's a longer level, but yeah.
yeah, so
That's funny.
I'm still enjoying Final Fantasy 16. I don't want to rush it, but it's definitely a chonky boy. And then the other one's Pikmin 4. I am just thoroughly enjoying it as my first Pikmin game. It actually has this ability to make me want 100% it. I'm usually not a 100%er. I'm like, no, I'm good. There is one in the first area that's still at 99%, and I'm like, where's that 1%? I must find the 1%. So, what was I going to say about Pikmin? It was really great. I got to tell you, there's something about Pikmin. Well, first of all, music's great. The sound the Pikmin make, whether they're singing or they go hop ho, it's adorable. But let me tell you, Pikmin can be kind of dark. Like if you leave one stranded at the end of the night and the monster comes and just eats it up, or basically whenever you see your Pikmin die, I'm like, oh,
You see that little ghost go?
I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know why. Like this isn't even like
I murdered it.
this is like a very cartoony kitty like game, quote unquote. It's not like real life graphics and blood and guts and gore. And I'm still a little shaken. Oh no, my son. Like I was a little shaken. So okay. So anyway, that's all I've been playing. I gotta put my son to bed. I'll be right back.
Okay. LeRon, what are you playing? LeRon? He's
My
muted.
bad. My bad. My bad.
It's
Sorry.
fine.
Rewinding real fast. I'm currently playing some oldies right now. Like I'm revisiting the 2018 Spider-Man from PS4. Playing it on the playing the PC version on the ROG Ally, and yeah, like I basically was at the end of the game my first time through when I was playing on the PS4. So like now it's just like playing catch up and just like doing some stuff differently this time, before I actually go all in and beat it this time around. And Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade also playing on the ROG Ally, the PC version. I love, you know, I'm gonna share a secret with you guys. Like when they turned around and said they were remaking Final Fantasy VII, I was like, oh god, why? Because I was one of those guys that like played like played the original Final Fantasy 7 till the clock was like all nines and stuff, because every single one of the characters had to have a Knights of the Round. Every single character had to have had Knights of the Round and a Master Materia and stuff like that. There was just no, and so now we don't have to. I've been told that we don't have to worry about all that stuff this time around for Final Fantasy 7 remake. We shall see, because there's still two more discs coming out for that game. We shall see. But
well, 4 technically, because the next one's 2 discs.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm really enjoying it. I love all the stuff they've done to it, and I know, like, for some people who are out here listening, they're like, "Oh, why was he playing that game 2 years ago?" Because I didn't want to play the game 2 years ago. I was waiting for the PC version to come out.
Yeah,
that's why. That's why. Even though I did buy the PS4 version on buy 2 get 1 free sale after I got my PS5, but still didn't play it then. But anyway, I feel like Remake Intergrade is basically like Advent Children, the movie, like, but just a game. It's wild, and there's a part of me that almost wants them to turn around. Like, after this whole Final Fantasy VII remake is out of their system and all that stuff, they should find a way to transcript Final Fantasy VII Advent Children into a game. They should do that, because man, like, the remake so far is just fucking mind blowing. And then on top of that, because I've got the Frog Ally, it just varies fooling around, tinkering with emulators and stuff like that. I've got games running that should not be running. Just at Radio Future, a couple of PS3 games are up in there. And I asked you guys for some recommendations for some games for a system that cannot be named.
Did you end up trying some out?
I did go after them, but I haven't tried them yet. I did go after them. So thank you, Stephanie and Corey.
Looking forward to your feedback later.
Did a little did the Japanese people knock on your door and ask you to confiscate your stuff?
Nope.
Side tangent. Remember the Wii commercials? We would like to play, and they would open up briefcases, like the Wii remote would be inside. That's what I imagine. That's what I would imagine them showing up to LeRon's house, but like not with Wii remotes. More like I don't know,
tasers or something.
Cease and desist notice, and
I can see them actually creating like nanobots, but in the likeness of Pikmin, and they all come after you.
Oh no! Carry him away like the little red dots to build more Pikmin.
Yeah, they'll haul Ron off into an undisclosed location.
Oh no! I hate all this.
Wow!
Watch out for them purple Pikmin, Ron. They will pick you up.
What about the glow in the dark ones?
Look what you've done. Look what you've done.
Hey, I do what I need to do.
You do what you need to do.
Yeah. So, well, I bought my Switch game this week, so just kidding.
Cool.
I still want a ROG Ally or a Steam Deck or one or the other. Although it looks like I'm going to have to buy another type of handheld device within the next year and a half. So,
well, have you thought more about what I told you about as far as the ROG Ally? Because like the ROG Ally is more for like people who are PC gaming. So like there's tweaks and stuff you'd have to do to it. I know the one big factor for you is like, how are you going to play Destiny? Because
you can't play it on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So
I guess somebody will have to walk you through a thing or two.
Yeah.
If you decide to go that route.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
We'll see. I will probably wait till there's like a sale on it or something, because that's still a pretty big drop in the bucket.
Just run the Best Buy and find an open box one. Like they're like the open box one usually like the ones I've seen at my local Best Buy, the open box ones are saving you somewhere between $30 and $80.
Wait, hold on. There's an open box of a ROG Ally already?
Oh, there's quite a few.
Somewhere.
Like they had them week 1 because some people just didn't understand it.
What? Okay, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm just going to skip over that and just say, other than the open box stuff, it's hard for me to see things like the Steam Deck and ROG Ally go on sale at least anytime soon because they're so new. Or is it just me?
Well,
Like,
the Steam Deck was
The
on
Steam
sale a
Deck's
couple
been on
weeks
sale
ago.
twice.
Yeah.
The Steam
but
Deck's been on sale
okay,
twice.
how much on sale? Because if it's like, here's $20 off,
Oh,
like
no,
I
no,
don't.
no, no,
20%,
no, 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 no.
20% off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like
Which
it'd
is
be like decent enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I think the Steam Deck is probably going to be the way I go at some point. I don't know. I'm still waiting on a second iteration now because like all those EU rules came out where like all portable devices have to have easily removed battery and USB-C and all this stuff. And I'm like, now I'm like waiting for that because I'm like they're going to redesign it to fit these rules. Maybe with an OLED screen, which would be nice.
It would be nice. It would be honestly. That's the one thing. Like there's a part of me that wishes like like the battery could have been a little chunkier.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have had options. Or you could have had options like just a better option for for a good external battery.
Mm-hmm.
Something that could actually like attach to the system. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I still have I haven't been doing that much traveling since I got back from California, so like it's not like this thing's going at the house with me.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just an in my bed device.
Yeah, I mean, what I would really use it.
Kind of dirty. Oh my
Wow.
god.
Does the ROG have vibration capabilities?
Whoa. Vibration's always on.
Jeez, help.
Nice setting.
Max.
I mean, the reason I'm changing course of this conversation. I mean, the reason why I would want one is because I would be like sitting on the couch watching something aside and playing something at the same time.
That's literally what I do. Like the TV's on, something's on, and I got the damn thing like up in my face.
Yeah, that would be.
I'm telling you, I'm still kind of bit of a diva when it comes to the Steam Deck. Like it's collecting dust, and you'd think, I don't know, I have access to Steam, but it's just too big and heavy. I can't.
Yeah.
I sit there and it's too big and heavy for me. I'm sorry. See, size sometimes if it's too big, it's not good. It's not comfortable.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have the right size for the right person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some prefer big and some prefer compact. You know what I mean? So.
As long as it gets the job done.
Exactly.
Battery life, though, doesn't have the endurance.
Such a shame sometimes with those handhelds.
Oh boy! All right. Speaking of handheld, I finished Zelda.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah, we talked about it. We
Right?
talked what?
Congrats, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I stayed up too late trying to finish it because, time. But we did it, and we did the book club, and it's done, and I kind of don't want to see it again for a while.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like I said on book club, and I won't go into my rant here, but like, it's kind of like I felt like I really played that game already, and I played a lot of that game already, and then they put you back in with a few minor changes. And like, if I didn't play Breath of the Wild, I would say yes, Tears of the Kingdom is the game you should play, right? But I would not go from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, and a lot of that magic was lost for me. The story was way better. I was all in on the story, right? Like the story was amazing. I really loved how it ended. I loved, I liked how it began, the memories, the dragon tears, and how it ended. I was there for the story, but like, again, some of the shrines were fun, but like, I felt like some of the puzzles were like, oh, this is just a different version of this or whatever. And the Koroks, man, there's 1,000 of them this time. I felt like I played it already, and I don't know. I thought it was going to be a lock. Like the first 2 weeks I was playing it, I thought this was a lock for Game of the Year, and now I'm like, man, I don't know if it will be.
I think, like you said, if Breath of the Wild, I don't know, maybe didn't happen, and Tears of the Kingdom kind of stood on its own, I would say, yeah, it's a shoo-in. But because Breath of the Wild came out and it got Game of the Year, not that that should be a factor. I do wonder.
Yeah. I also wonder if this took place on a different landmass, if it would have changed my opinion too, because that was the part of the game that I loved of Breath of the Wild was exploration, and I already knew this map, So
yeah, I'm kind of curious what's going to be Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I feel like we might be surprised, and it's probably going to be Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, I would. Here's the thing. I
Just
think
because it's
Baldur's
getting just because of how much hype it's generating right now, it's almost like Elden Ring level.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Zelda, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't Zelda. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I mean, I'm playing. Okay, so the other game I'm playing right now is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And that game's like incredible. I'm like partway through like the second area that you kind of unlock. That game's incredible. I'm having a blast with it. Final Fantasy 16, what I played I played the demo, and I'm gonna play it when I can. And that game is incredible. Everybody loves.
If they don't screw up Starfield, which I doubt, like that's still.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear it's not playable at Gamescom?
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's because it's coming out like before.
Well, people are wondering if it's not playable because they got something to hide.
Well, there's
always that.
Well, there's like aspects of the game that they aren't revealing to people because they want it to be a surprise. And apparently,
I'm not talking about that kind of hide, like performance hide.
Well,
like the reason why like you couldn't get Cyberpunk on any other system than PC. Kind of surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Bethesda game. What do they expect? It's not like it's going to run at 120 frames a second, flawless, no glitches. And I'm expecting a Bethesda game in space. So I don't know. I know there's like other aspects of the game that they haven't announced yet that are pretty, key to the experience as well. So.
Hey, LeRon, would you be surprised that if Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom does not win Game of the Year, I'm not going to be upset at all?
Would I be surprised?
If that's that I just said that statement?
No, not really. No,
okay.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, because
if Eddie said that, would you be surprised?
What? Who? What?
If Eddie said that, would you be surprised?
I would be surprised. I would be surprised.
I mean,
actually, I don't even know what Ed's ranting and raving about right now. What's he ranting and raving about right now over there, Corey?
Pikmin?
I don't know.
Pikmin.
I don't know. I just kind of wait. I just kind of wait till he stops talking, and then I'll start talking. Yeah.
No, I love my Tears of the Kingdom. It's going to have a special place in my heart, but I acknowledge and recognize so many other things that are going on this year. So may the best game win, quote unquote.
Plus, like all the stuff that came out at the beginning of the year, like Hi-Fi Rush it's not going to win Game of the Year, but it's going to be in some sort of conversation, right?
Art direction,
Resident Evil, Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure Fire Emblem will be on someone's list. It's not on my list.
Oh, well, maybe Tears of the Kingdom will win Best Family Game.
Yeah. I mean, plus we still have like Mario Wonder and all these games that are coming out in the fall, and it's like, I don't know, Zelda has competition. But
if Silk Song came out, then you know what, it's just gonna blow all that competition away. You know it.
I don't know it. I hated Hollow Knight, so
blasphemy.
I also like how that game became popular like 3 years after it came out.
That's because of the Switch, honestly.
Probably.
That's when everyone can play it.
But I do want to talk about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That game looks incredible. Finally,
have you met Scuba Steve yet?
Finally, it didn't crash on me when I was in Yes, I did meet Scuba Steve. He's in the beginning.
Isn't he awesome?
His name's not Steve, though.
No, it's like Steve. Scuba Steve or something. Steve. It's something like that.
But like when you're riding in and like you're walking through Coruscant, you just kind of look around and it looks better than the prequel trilogy. It just looks amazing. And like man, the combat in the game is really good. The traversal is really good. They added a grappling hook just like every other game in the last 5 years, and that adds a lot to it. But you can only grapple to certain places, which is fine, whatever. I really like the force powers. I really like how they didn't Metroid you this time, and they actually like give you like most of your powers at the beginning. Your skill tree actually just makes them stronger instead of like unlocks things. Now, granted, I'm sure there's things that are going to be unlocked throughout the game, different, saber stances and different types of that nature. But like, man, it feels so good to like pull a stormtrooper towards you and then slice him in half because there's you can cut off limbs and stuff in this game, which is great. I'm really enjoying it. I'm in the second area, and man, this game, highly recommend it. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, like if you like good combat and an interesting story, and the nice thing too is at the beginning they actually recap what happens in the first game. Like if you missed it, they recap a lot of the major story points. And then there's actually something in the options menu that actually goes deeper into that. So that's cool too.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And the customization options this time, no ponchos. Thank God. No ponchos this time.
I don't know. You almost lost Cameron because of that.
What?
You almost lost the actor because of that. He was disappointed there was no poncho.
Yeah.
He wanted ponchos. There's an interview where he's literally like sitting with the producer of the game, and like that, like the producer's trying to get him to start talking about the game, but all he could talk about was how disappointed he was that there were no ponchos being represented.
Interesting. I'm rocking the single lightsaber and the double lightsaber because you can have two stances at once, or two sabers at once, I guess.
Hey, this might be kind of an ignorant question, but when you say stance, is it kind of like Ghost of Tsushima where you have different stances when you fight with your sword? Or is it just a okay.
I don't know. I didn't play Ghost of Tsushima.
There are different stances that you can... Well, the different stances do different things.
Yeah.
This guy didn't play Ghost of Tsushima and he had a PS4.
You're missing on an epic game.
But then again, I can talk shit because like I had a PS4 and I didn't play Ghost of Tsushima until PS5. So, I haven't beaten Ghost of Tsushima yet. So hey, Corey, high five.
The different stances just gives you different like lightsabers.
Wait, Stephanie, are you doing a thing to us right now?
No. What am I doing?
Oh, okay. You had your hand to your face in the gesture.
Oh no! I was just biting my cheek. Oh my gosh! I'm not trying to like flip you off inadvertently or something. Nope, just chewing on my cheek.
No, the knob slobbing. One.
No. So my one stance, I have one lightsaber, so I can like pull people and push people, and then the other stance I have is the double bladed like Darth Maul style lightsaber.
Hell yeah!
And that gives you a really awesome like twirling lightsaber. Like you can block lasers from blasters and stuff and blast it back at them, which is really nice.
Which is weird though, because why wasn't he just like Mace Winduing with the single lightsaber though? I don't understand.
I don't know. He's not cool like Mace Windu. No, he's great.
Whoa!
Cameron
is awesome.
He's just a lowly Padawan. He's a lowly Padawan.
A lowly bro,
dude.
Kel was on a TV show. He would mess these Jedi Inquisitors up.
He'll be in a show apparently. He was on set for one of the shows that they're filming. But nobody knows what show it is because they're all kind of connecting now. But supposedly he was on set.
It can't be Ahsoka unless it's going to be flashbacks.
Maybe it's Skeleton Crew.
So yeah, I'm really liking it. I recommend it to anybody who, especially if you played the first one. This is just a step up from the first one. Still a few like performance issues, a little bit like hitching frame rate and stuff. Like it's not it's not like always hitting 60. Especially in tight spaces with a lot of enemies. Yeah.
Wow.
Especially in tight spaces with a lot of enemies, but actually out in the open, it's actually like really fluid. So I don't know what's going on, but Jedi Survivor, incredible game.
Okay, all right.
You should play it.
But hold on, Pat. I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend thee. I'm sorry.
You're forgiven. You know what's great is the commercial they had when Jedi Survivor came out, and it had Cameron and Mark Hamill training Cameron in the ways of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, not only are they both Jedis, they both played awesome variations of the Joker.
It's true. Well, Cameron played like 3 iterations of the Joker.
Mm-hmm. He was versatile.
Yeah, he's very good. Gotham, man. I think that show was really good.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Yep. Agreed. All right, let's get into our topics. So we wanted to. What was the topic you had, LeRon, or do we like games with multiple endings first?
Let's do that one first.
Okay. So games with multiple endings. Baldur's Gate has something like 1,700 endings or something. They announced, like literally announced that number, and a lot of people are like wondering what's going on. Stephanie, if you're talking, you're muted. I saw your.
I thought you were Thank you. I thought you were exaggerating earlier. That's a legit number.
Mm-hmm.
They said something along that line.
It's like 1,703 endings or something, but like we don't really know what that means. Really, like I mean, if you do something like and your arm gets cut off, is that an ending?
Right.
And then you
like
have
how
your arm
different is each
yeah.
ending? Yeah.
Yeah. We do know that you can have intercourse with bears. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness. I wouldn't have bought the game otherwise.
I know. I was like, oh man, you know what I could really go for? Some bear fucking. And guess what?
What's great is the expression on the squirrel's face when it's watching it happen.
I know.
Like the squirrel's holding a nut and it's just like gets wide-eyed and drops the
squirrel is holding its nut. Wow.
Trust me, the gays are gonna love that one.
No, that honestly, I think that really picked up hype of this game. Like when they showed that, when they announced that you can have a vampire have sex with a druid in their werebear form. Like, I mean, it just
there was a team of artists that probably worked on this for like 6 months. I was like, you gotta animate the bear, you know, and you got to make sure like it works with all types of body types too, right? Like it's like. Mm-hmm. Man, sorry guys. I mean, I know Larian's a great studio and they have some great ideas and great games. Like I always forget if they do Pillars of Eternity or the other. What's the other game that
they did? Divinity.
Yeah, I always get those 2 games mixed up. Obsidian did Pillars. So yeah, man. But also there's games like Mass Effect where like your choices kind of progress through the game, and then. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people were disappointed in Mass Effect 3 where there's technically only like 3 endings or 4 technically if you get like the perfect ending or but how do we feel about that? Do we like games with multiple endings? LeRon, you're the Mass Effect guy here. I'm going your way first.
I for the most part I do like games with multiple endings. The very first game I can remember having multiple endings was that I played was Chrono Trigger for the Super NES. That was the first one because there's I think there's 8 different endings to that game, and
there were quite a few.
Yeah, there were quite a few. Like you've got endings to scenarios that should not happen. But the thing is though, you have to beat the game first. Like you have to beat the game one time, and then your new game plus, then you can start playing around because like. The thing about Chrono Trigger, for people who don't know what about the game, it's about time travel and stuff like that. So you can actually bend events. You can actually bend events like once you get into your new game plus, because in your new game plus, if I'm not, don't someone's going to skewer me for this because like it is my top 5 like all time RPGs ever. Like JRPGs ever, and I cannot remember for sure your new game plus if you carry. I think you carry all your experience with you. If I'm not mistaken.
I think that's the case because otherwise it was impossible to do the kill Lavos right in the beginning.
Yeah, you can kill Lavos. Yeah, you can kill. Actually, you can kill Lavos in the future the first time it shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, no. Even in the new game plus, there was a secondary portal that you could immediately go right to Lavos and finish him.
Now, what I hated about those, if you like those multiple endings though, like if you didn't actually play the game like from beginning to end, like when you get one of those when you get to one of those early like events where you can beat the game right then and there, like you get like the most cheesiest fucking like roll credits ever. The only thing cool about the roll credits is the music, because it's the music from the Sky City. Like that's some of the best music I've ever heard in a video game.
It is pretty dope.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a fan of games with multiple endings, as long as these multiple endings aren't just like really like, like if you blink it and you miss like what was different about it. Like I can't stand that when they just waste our time and want us to like basically to pad our time, playing the games just so, oh, you got this, oh, you platinum this, and like literally I saw like 22 endings and all of them were basically the same, but yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the more memorable multiple ending games besides Chrono Trigger, because I think it's a treat when like you play a game and you spent like a decent amount of time on it and you find out there's multiple endings, because like some people when they play games they play them kind of smartly. They have multiple save files, so they don't have to do but so much to go back, as opposed to playing the whole game all over again. That's if the game doesn't really give you a new game plus, for example, shoot, what's one of the games like the Resident Evil games back on the PS1. Like they had multiple endings, and the cool thing was you could kind of cheat it, because like if you had multiple saves, you can just do something a little bit differently, and still
like
just
make sure Barry comes back.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah, like multiple endings, I don't see anything wrong with it. And in all honesty, in this day and age when people complain about like games not having enough substance, like a multiple games with multiple outcomes, multiple endings is like the way to go.
Yeah, and then like you still have games like games that are really designed that way, like Detroit Become Human, or what was the horror game that Super
Until Dawn.
Yeah, Until Dawn and stuff like that.
Dark.
And like their whole
Quarry.
new So I mean, games that are designed that way, and those games are kind of cool to play with people, right? Because like you can kind of make decisions together. And I always I don't know where this originated, but I know Detroit Become Human does this, is like they show other people's choices and like the branches from those choices and kind of like where they go.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really like that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth. Like Detroit Become Human was one of my shining examples of what they do well with multiple endings. And although I haven't done it yet, it's one of the few that gives me enough of an incentive to go back and try out things differently. Because while I don't think that there's anything wrong with multiple endings, just generally, I think it'll take a lot for me to replay them to get all the endings. So I don't know. I know there's some games that just do it because, I don't know, might be the popular thing to do. They think more endings the better, as long as it's done, thoughtfully, with intent. Have at it.
Yeah,
for sure. Pat, you haven't really said a lot.
Well, my multiple endings are both a hit and a miss with me. When a game does have multiple endings, I actually want to know what what they call the golden route is. If there's a golden route, that's usually the ending I try to go for, because that is what the designer actually intended the ending to be. So if I ended up like Triangle Strategy was a game I did not finish because I got locked out at the golden ending. And it's like, I do not want to go back and play, another 30 hours to try and make my choices match, how I need to take a certain path to get the true ending of the game.
I hear that.
So like that's my issue with multiple endings, is the games that I play that tend to have them take too damn long, and I want to move on to something else. But I do enjoy games that have like Easter egg endings. specifically like by doing something. Far Cry is a great example where if you just in the beginning of the game, if you just wait, like in Far Cry 4, when Pagan Minge says, "Just wait here, enjoy your crab ragoon, I'll be right back." If you wait for like, I think it's like 5 or 10 minutes, he comes back and the game ends because he does what he wants to, which I'm not spoiling.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay.
it's a very interesting ending.
Yeah, Far Cry 3 does something similar too, right? I think.
Far Cry 5 definitely did.
Yeah. What?
6 had a ending where you can literally just leave, like when you get your boat, just go off to the border and the game ends because you decide to just screw the revolution.
Really?
I love stuff like that.
Yeah. And the the Near series also is one that does a lot of these things. Like,
Yeah.
there's a chip that's in your like chips are how you get powerful in Near, and there's a certain chip that they say do not remove. And if you remove that chip, you pretty much commit self-suicide, and the game ends.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
Or if she eats a fish, then apparently she has like a food allergy. That also ends the game.
Wow.
hmm
Wow.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's just little things like that where it's like you have an ending that correlates to each letter of the alphabet, and most of them are joke endings.
Nice. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about what it takes to get a different ending? And the only reason why I'm using this example is just because it's a recent game I beat, not because I'm trying to pick on it or anything. And it's a cool thing. I'm just bad at gaming. Getting a true ending or a secret ending if you 100% a game. Going back to the 100% thing.
Oh,
Like,
like Pikmin.
yeah, or Metroid Prime Remastered, where I was lucky I beat the game with like 70% of the collectibles. Yeah. And I looked it up, like, because that ending, if you don't, you only like see her face, but like you get a kind of a cool secret ending if you 100% it. But I'm like, I can't, for me, after spending all those hours just trying to beat the damn game, go back and play it all over again, or at least go back and run it. Just, I don't know. Like, do you feel like 100%ing is a fair way to give someone a secret ending?
As long as it's not hair-pullingly difficult, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Just so you know, Stephanie, that 100% Metroid thing, that's been a thing since like the NES version.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's how you
Yeah.
found out that Samus was a woman.
Yeah.
Well, it actually wasn't 100%.
No,
It
it
was a
wasn't
time
100%.
limit.
It was 100. Yeah, it was time limit for that. 100%. 100% takes everything off. That's what put it that way.
Is that the bikini part?
Yeah, that's the bikini part. Yeah, which is funny because in the original Metroid, it's a one piece. In Super Metroid, it's a 2-piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see a
Metroid
lot less
Zero,
with
it's
less effort.
One Piece.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Stephanie is on one tonight.
I know.
Isn't she?
Jeez.
Just saying.
Oh
Why
man.
go through all that pain and effort for that when you can just type in a little something?
You know what? You know what? I feel like out of all the Metroid games that you can beat and get all the endings though, like Super Metroid is the most rewarding one out of the entire series because there's 3 special techniques you learn. Like you learn what's called shine sparking, which basically is this, you saw it in Metroid Dread, where you basically run and you store like your boosted state, and then you launch yourself in a certain direction, and she will just like go like a comet somewhere.
Yep, I was terrible at that, but yep.
Yeah, I'm not the best at it either, which is funny because like I used to be the shit at it in Super Metroid. And then like Metroid Zero Mission happened, and then Samus Returns didn't have it. The game the 3DS remake, it did not have it, but then it showed up again in Metroid Prime. I mean Dread, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And like, why do I suck now?
Yeah. Fusion also used it a lot too.
That's right. I forgot about Fusion. Yeah, I forgot Fusion had it too. Fusion's was easy compared to like the other ones, though.
Well, Fusion, it was almost necessary to.
Yeah, it
do
was. It was. Yeah. But yeah, like, there were three techniques. There's a technique you could do with your super with your super no your power bombs, where basically like you do it a certain way, and your power bombs like basically create like a force field around you for like a few seconds. So yeah, there's like three techniques. Like, once you learn them all, it makes the game. It's like you're playing a different game at that point.
Yeah. What's your favorite game with multiple endings? Or the one that comes to mind, I guess, the most? For me, it's I mean, the first game that I really like had a huge experience with was Knights of the Old Republic. Just like the twist in that game makes you rethink like everything, right?
Everything that you did, yes.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh. And like, I mean, I played through as like a good guy the first time, and then like, but when you know the twist, it really makes you think about everything. I don't want to spoil it because there's a remake supposedly coming maybe in the next 20 years, maybe possibly from someone. Also for those who haven't played it yet. But yeah, that game, man, dude, if that game was modernized the right way and was like, man, that game would be so incredible, man. Oh, that game was incredible. Love it.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it from a guy that's watched Let's Plays of it. I never played the game.
Oh man,
that was an Xbox. That was an Xbox game originally, and then it came to PC.
It's on everything now, though, I think.
Yeah, by the time it came to PC, I didn't care about it anymore.
Yeah, it's on the Switch too. Now it's $10, I think, which is a great deal for that game. So yeah, I mean, that game was the first game that kind of came to mind for this topic for me.
Favorite game that had multiple endings. You know, like Stephanie mentioning Detroit. Yeah, like that was one of those ones because that was actually one of the ones that actually went through after I beat it the first time, and I started. And luckily for me, like when I had experience playing like Heavy Rain, so I knew like have save spots at like critical junctures of the game and stuff like that. So that was one of those ones that was easy for me because I started seeing outcomes like I can't remember. There was one when I because I thought at the end of the game like it's not so much one of the main characters, but a secondary character that's with one of your main characters. Like that person, that android can die, you know. But I didn't know until after I like beat the game, moved on from it, was already playing different games that you could actually save that android, and I was like, the fuck. So then I went back and started doing I was trying to do everything differently to save that android. You know, it's wild. You know, Detroit was definitely one of them. Mass Effect 2 is also up there for me. Like two more than 3 because like I did things pretty well in my original playthrough of Mass Effect 2, and then after I beat the game, right before I started Mass Effect 3, because I bought the Mass Effect trilogy when it came out on PS3, so I bought like the one straight shot and was just playing them back to back, front to back. And right before I started Mass Effect 3, I was like, wait, there's something I either missed or something I could have done better. And I went back and I played the suicide mission again and actually got a better ending because of that. Yeah. So, and then, I don't know. Those are the ones on the top of my head, you know, like everyone knows, everyone knows, thanks to me, that the Dead Space remake has a second ending now. So yeah. So like, I'm working my way through that to get the secret ending. Which the secret ending, honestly, I've seen it. You know, I spoiled myself for it because I was like, oh, I have to see this because I'm not sure if I'm going to run back in and play the game immediately. But of course, I'm running back in and playing the game. But it basically, anyone that knows the history of Dead Space, it basically lobs a softball to you for the events to take place between Dead Space 1 and 2. So yes, fantastic.
Nice. I would say, I mean, I've already mentioned one of my favorite ones being Near Automata and its alphabet-based ending that it had. But another one that, like, I really appreciated multiple endings was the Nonary game series,
Mm.
the
The which?
999, the
Mhm.
999
Yep.
Virtue's Last Reward and Zero Time Dilemma.
Oh, those. Okay.
Yeah, and I appreciated them because the ending necessarily that wasn't necessarily the end. It actually like your goal was to get all these endings, and that kind of leads you on to the true path
Hmm.
because they had that time feature involved where you understood what happened and you were able to change the events because of it. Like I like those kind of multiple endings as well. I just think that was pretty cool.
I've already kind of said my favorite because I have very limited experience with Detroit Become Human. But you know what? While we were talking, I thought of a game that I love, but technically there are multiple endings based on your morality scale, and I was kind of disappointed on how not much of a difference it really made. And that was Red Dead 2.
Mm.
Um, Love the game. This is not by any means like crapping on the game. Every part of the game is fine, but I just felt like something like that, like probably didn't really even need multiple endings because you can be a good outlaw, quote unquote, or there's a morality scale. And I was like, I played the goody two shoes and saw my ending, and then I looked up all the different endings, and they really didn't. They like wouldn't was definitely not worth it for me to like go around and start shooting people so I can get my alternate ending.
I would say though, out of those endings, like by being the goody two shoes, it definitely felt like more of a redemption
Oh yeah.
ending
Yeah.
than the ones where you're a jerk and then you kind of get what you deserve.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is I didn't know Red Dead had different endings because I thought it like led into Red Dead 1
it
Well,
in a very
does.
specific
yeah,
way.
it's two factors, right, Pat? It's your morality scale and then what you decide to do with John,
The
right?
it's yeah, what
If you help
whether
John
or
or not.
not you go back for the money
Yep.
is basically the choice, but you don't get that choice if you're a bad guy.
Mm. So does it like is there like the like quote unquote right ending then for that game?
There's the good guy ending, and then there's kind of like the karma get bites your ass
hmm
ending.
But does it all lead to like you being John at some point or like the ending that John is a part of?
Yeah,
Okay. I was just
yeah. It more deals with the fate of Arthur Morgan versus
okay.
John's story.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean obviously Red Dead 1 is John's story, but
Yeah,
you I didn't know that. That's interesting.
but I feel like if you go the good route, it gives you a better understanding of why John kind of forsook his outlaw life.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, good topic. Good topic.
You didn't say what you enjoyed.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Thanks for listening, Pat. I went first. I said Knights of the Old Republic.
that's right.
Hey, real quick bonus. What's the game
Bonus.
that didn't have? What's the game that didn't have multiple endings that you wish had multiple endings?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Final Fantasy
wait,
VII.
wait, wait. I want to add one more to my answer. Parasite Eve. That had
Mm-hmm.
multiple endings.
Yes,
Yeah, and that had multiple endings. Like I can't remember if it was a new game plus or if there's a trick you could do
it's a
on
new
your.
game plus that opens up the Chrysler Building, which is a bonus end game dungeon.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My choice is interesting because I actually don't really care for this game all that much, although I do want to give it another shot soon. I think it would have been interesting if BioShock had multiple endings,
Mm.
like that led into
Yeah,
the other games a little bit.
yeah.
Although, I just think the whole concept and like, what the story is kind of about, I think that would have been really interesting to give that game, even if it was just like, here's the good ending or here's the bad ending or here's, you know,
Bioshock did have multiple endings. Did you harvest the little sister?
Mm.
oh, okay. I mean, I meant
Sorry, I had to get you.
I hate you.
Thank you.
Not really.
Stoy hated me for fact checking him all the time. Maybe that's why we don't have a podcast anymore.
Oh, too soon. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, rip.
No,
New topic, man.
no,
New topic.
real quick, not to be cliche, but hear me out. Legend of Zelda, LeRon. It can either be like even like anything from Tears of the Kingdom, but I won't go into that because it's still a new game and I don't want to spoil it. But Ocarina of Time, LeRon, because of that stupid timeline thing, which I know Nintendo doesn't care about the timeline, so I know this would never happen. But because they made up a timeline, the hero has fallen, the hero beat him, and the kid timeline, like there you go, multiple endings, so it would go with the timeline, and it makes too much sense.
Okay,
Yes.
I was thinking you were gonna say one of the older Legend of Zeldas, like the original or like Zelda 2, which I don't understand why anyone would torture themselves playing Zelda 2 multiple times, but
Ooh,
yeah.
I don't know
I have
anybody
beat it
who would
twice.
torture themselves to play it once.
yeah.
Just to say you won.
No.
Like
Nobody's winning.
Well, for all you, okay, because I'm not the biggest Legend of Zelda fan here out of all of us, but so for you guys, like, what was? I know me personally, I run from Zelda 2 like the plague because I actually tried to play it. But what was it? What was it in your guys' opinions that made that game terrible?
All of it. The overworld, like walking through the overworld was like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And then going to like these side
Walking through-
scrolling bits is like, what are we trying to do here? What's the goal here?
you might as well have been Snake Plissken in Escape from New York, like walking through that overworld because everything's gonna jump you.
Yeah, I think that's the part that I struggled when I did I'm gonna beat every Zelda game in release order. I stopped at Zelda 2 because the overworld was just
Even when you stay on the road, like
Yes.
shit's fucking with you.
Yep. I'm like, all right, cool.
It's honestly the hitboxes that really broke that game.
That's a good
Like
one.
trying to hit someone right where you needed to hit them, like the Dark Knots that always move their shield, or like the pinpoint like perfection that a lot of the bosses had, that you had to hit them right in the right spot. Like I felt like that was one of the hardest things to do in the Zelda game. And then also the fact that unless you were like at max level, they took a huge chunk of your health every time that they hit you.
Man, Zelda. All right. New topic. Next topic. Do we want to talk about the Switch 2 because we have a few questions about that, or do we want to talk about LeRon's topic?
Wait, we have questions about the Switch 2? I leave it up to you guys.
Nobody left questions about anything else. So what was the topic that you brought, LeRon? I kind of forget. I guess I gotta look at the doc.
Wait.
Game length.
Does
that was
length justify how much the game is?
Yeah.
I mean, from a timing standpoint, does it make more sense to address the Switch 2 news because of when?
Why don't we do the game length as our extra?
Okay.
This week.
Okay.
I think that would be an interesting extra.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So Switch 2, everybody, sort of, kind of leaked, maybe, sort of. VGC, Video Games Chronicle, broke the story. And let me pull up the link here. But basically, the Switch 2, or whatever Nintendo's next console is,
Nintendo Switch
seems to be aiming for a fall 2024 release, according to this. Key partners have dev kits already, which is probably where they're getting this information from, because you sure as hell not getting it from Nintendo. They probably won't even tell you the console exists until after it's out. So yeah, I mean, thoughts on a 2024, late 2024 release?
I was still thinking early 2025. Like maybe they'll announce it
Mhm.
in 2024 and then early 2025 because I see Nintendo just squeezing every little bit they can from the Switch. I mean,
Mhm.
they're
I agree with you. I agree with Stephanie.
they're
Yeah.
so close to catching up to total sales for the PS2.
Yeah. And they're going to need 2 holidays to do that, right? I mean, I think I so I've kind of heard some things about an early 2025 release date. The only reason why I would think that they would push it up is for security reasons, not necessarily because the console is selling bad, right? Because like if you have a launch Switch or some sort of like version of the Switch, like that thing has been cracked open, right? I mean, we literally talked about it earlier in the show, right? So I think Nintendo is kind of pissed about that. And so they want to have some sort of, console out there that hasn't been broken open. So that would be the only reason why I think they would move it up. But I still think they're going to release it in the same window that the Switch was released in. I think they'll announce it late 2024. Have one more holiday for the Switch for like kids and maybe people who want to jump in. Maybe it gets a price cut, right, to eliminate stock to make room for this new console, right?
Right, and that
Maybe so.
guess doesn't eliminate or kind of go contradict the rumors. I mean, Nintendo can still hand out dev kits and work, and people can still work on development, and still be early 2025. So it still
Yeah.
works with the rumors, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine some sort of rollout similar to the Switch, although announcing it before holiday would be kind of dangerous because it's not like a Wii U to Switch situation. The Switch is successful, and that would maybe cannibalize any last minute sales they might have. But also, like, I think everybody who wants a Switch probably has one by now, and this would be like, oh, I want a second console. Oh, my kid wants one. Oh, my kid wants a Fortnite and Minecraft machine. Here you go, type thing, right? So I don't know.
Wait. You just right because the average Switch owner has two Nintendo Switches.
That is true.
Yep.
I have 2 Switches.
I have 2.
I have one.
I have 3.
Well, there you go.
See? See?
Quick question.
You almost always have a Switch OLED
Mhm.
or a Switch Lite or a...
You got Switch OLED, Switch,
I've got all
and a Switch
3.
Lite.
Yeah.
I've got all 3, but they were for like really reviewing for Nintendo Power Block. The light is in the light is in the box downstairs, and the regular Switch is sitting over here with games on it for my kids.
Can I have it?
No.
Oh,
It's because Corey knows I'm gonna sodomize the damn thing.
No, it's because I always keep all my launch Nintendo consoles. I have every one except for my Wii, and that's because it melted in an apartment fire. So
that's
Um,
impressive.
yeah.
Does anyone recall? I just only remember that the Switch announcement was like they didn't announce it in like
6
a long
months.
6 months. Okay,
Mhm.
because I'm like, do you think maybe they would announce it at the very beginning of 25 and release it literally just a month or two later? Is that too short of a window?
That's too short of a window.
That's too
Yeah,
short. They
I
need
mean,
to build up.
Like if anybody has learned that lesson, it's Sega.
Yeah.
You cannot shadow drop a console.
Well, to be fair, that was the 90s. So yeah,
No,
I mean,
no.
I think what they did
Yeah.
with the Switch was actually perfect, right? Like that 6 month cycle. They tease it in October, they show it off in November, and then they do that big, huge, like Japanese kind of reveal stage show thing that they did that everybody kind of made fun of at the time. And then in March it was released, right? I mean, that seems pretty like a great marketing cycle for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I bet they have a special direct to announce it, though. I don't think they're going to have some sort of like, cheesy commercial thing. I think this is a very conservative Nintendo. We've talked about it on Nintendo Power Block a lot, where it's not Iwata trying to come up with crazy gimmicks that may or may not work for everybody, right? I think, and this article says it's going to probably be some sort of portable device that you plug into your TV, which is great. I hope they just call it Nintendo Switch V2.
You know what?
Yeah,
I
too
saw
bad.
this on Twitter. It should be called the Super Switch.
No, that's dumb.
The Nintendo Super Switch.
No, that's stupid.
The Switch Deluxe.
You're stupid.
I am
Too
stupid.
bad. Well, the deluxe works if it's just a reiteration of the same hardware.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think Nintendo is kind of looking at something like the iPad that, like, I think they're hoping that the Switch will catch on like the iPad, where, like, the iPad was like, here's the iPad, here's the iPad 2, here's
Yeah.
the iPad 3, and now it's just like, here's the next generation of iPad. They don't even have numbers anymore, you
I
know?
mean, that's how I feel like it would be a good way for them to go since the Switch is so popular.
Mhm.
But and if
Nintendo's always about innovation.
but that's the
They-
thing I was going to say, if they're going to continue their sense of innovation, then it would be no. So it
Mhm.
depends on the more conservative leadership. I feel weird using that word. Because like you said, Iwata versus post Iwata, you know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to see if they're going to really be experimental like they usually do, or if they're actually going to kind of keep working with what's working, you know?
I could see Nintendo being the first console to come out with a hologram version.
Maybe this one will have glasses free 3D on it.
Hmm.
Or like maybe it'll like be like, you know how movies were like 4D? Maybe this Nintendo Switch will emit smells or something.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so I think I mean, like I said, I really think that this leadership team is not really about innovation in the way that Nintendo has been since really, I mean, before, well, after the GameCube, I guess, like, you know, with the DS and the 3DS
Mhm.
and all this stuff. I really think that this leadership is a financially kind of conservative leadership team where they want to, like, they want to do what works, they want to make the money, and then, you know, use that money to invest in new games being made, and the innovation is going to come through the games, or like something like Ring Fit Adventure or Labo or Mario Kart Live, or, you know, those types of things
Like the
will be where the
supplementary
innovation.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is where Nintendo has succeeded this generation too, right? And kind of where they succeeded with the Wii, really, aside from the motion controls, like Wii Fit and you know, Wii Sports, that kind of thing. So
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
do we want to dive into the article, or do we just kind of want to speculate on what this thing could and should be?
Well, can we do like a one or two liner about the article? Because I'm sure the majority of people that would listen to this kind of show is aware of the news, but just to kind of level set, like,
Yeah.
what's the rumor and you know.
Yeah, let me skip. I'm not going to read the
Yeah.
whole thing. I'm just going to jump paragraphs. So, two sources. This is about the screen, actually, where two sources told VGC suggested that the console at launch could launch with an LCD screen, not an OLED screen, to bring down costs, especially considering the increased storage needed for higher fidelity games. So, they are going to sacrifice the OLED screen for some sort of memory inside the console, because I mean, if you forget, the Switch has 32 gigs of memory inside of it, which is ridiculous. So
I
that's
don't.
kind of disappointing because the OLED is so crispy.
Yeah, and part of me is like, why? Why do you have to sacrifice one for the other? But it's to keep the price point low, right?
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I mean, the rumor is that this is going to have about a PS4 Pro level power.
Oh, it's Pro now,
Mhm.
and not
Mhm.
and not just PS4.
Yeah. Some of the other
They're gonna
articles I
want
was
to keep this
reading,
under 400.
We're saying
Yeah.
PS4.
yeah, well, I've heard both. And I don't remember who made a video. I don't think it was Digital Foundry. It might have been Digital Foundry. I don't know. But somebody was talking about how, like, what the power might be is somewhere along the lines of PS4 Pro, and not quite like an Xbox One X level of power, which is fine, I think. Give me that Zelda that looks like Horizon. That'd be great. Thanks. So that would be great. I wonder what kind of hard drive they would use inside of this. My hope would be that they would use something that, like, the Steam Deck is using, like some sort of NVMe drive, but I doubt it since it's Nintendo, really.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you guys think about some sort of memory or, tech specs? LeRon, you're the tech guy here. What do you want out of this? Besides a 2D to Metroid.
You know me too well. You know me too well. 32 gigs of memory. Definitely. I feel like that's the sweet spot. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I kind of wish the ROG Ally had. The ROG Ally comes with 16 gigs of memory, and I really wish like 32 would have really like been the chef's kiss, because that would have gave it the extra bump in performance.
Oh, I didn't mean memory like that. I meant like like space, like storage space, not memory.
Storage space.
32 gigs of storage space. Sorry, I know memory means something
No,
else.
no. Okay. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, It's like I misheard the lyrics.
That was my fault. I misspoke.
Mm-hmm. Let me see the base. The Switch now comes 256, right?
No, it's 32 gigs. You have to buy it.
Oh, 32.
You have to buy an SD card.
Right.
If
That's
you
right. You had to buy an SD card. That's right.
Or the physical cartridge, I guess.
That shows how much I pay attention to the Switch because, like, I automatically bought an SD card as soon as I got my system.
I know.
Honestly, in this day and age, especially with games getting bigger and stuff like that, the thing needs to come starting with like 512 gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, no. In all honesty, especially because we don't know the architecture of how the Switch games are. I mean, I can tell you how big some Switch games are, like if you want me to, but Nintendo might come find me.
Well, the biggest game I think is Smash Brothers, right at like 17 something.
Well,
and then Tears of the Kingdom is next.
Yeah, Tears. Well, if we're looking at Smash with like all the added content, then yeah, it's the biggest game. Mm-hmm. But like Tears of the Kingdom is actually the biggest game.
Yeah.
As far as actual data size. So games are getting well. I mean, like shit. Anyone that owns an Xbox or a PlayStation knows games are getting bigger. You know. We cry now because like a game is like taking up 68 gigs on our SSDs now. So like it's
Star Wars is 118.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, have you heard about NBA 2K23?
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, it's funny you mention this because in the writers' chat on Twitter, someone posted like an interview. I'm just gonna quickly mention a question to Iwata. Speaking of Iwata, was it from Bill Gates or about Bill Gates? It says Bill Gates said recently, but that was 2005. That's not really recently. Said that he thinks Nintendo will be more of a niche player in the future, with Sony and Microsoft battling for the number 1 spot. And Iwata said, I have the completely opposite opinion. The people of other companies are targeting a very limited audience to those who are high-tech oriented and core game players. They cannot expand beyond that population. We are trying to capture the widest possible audience around the world. When I hear that, now granted, that was, again, Iwata era, that might change, but that makes me understand that I do believe the next iteration of the Switch and I don't know the tech words, so LeRon, you can fill in the tech blanks. Like it should run a bit better, but I'm okay and I can sleep at night if it's not up to par with current gen, like with the crazy frame rates and stuff. I do want it to be better than its current iteration, but I feel like it doesn't have to catch all the way up. I'm more about memory.
Here's what I absolutely wish for the new Nintendo Switch, or whatever they're going to call it. I wish that games would come out like on day one with not frame rate issues. Like the frame rate issues are like criminal on the Switch sometimes. Like if we look at Hyrule Warriors, if we look at we're not even going to talk about the travesty that was Pokemon what
Scarlet Violet.
What was those? Thank you. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. Especially on dated hardware like this. Like we had a disconnect somewhere. Either the developers are doing too much, or the developers don't know enough about the hardware, which is wild. Thinking the system is 6 years old now. So yeah, like the one thing I want is just for like the games that are built for the system to play properly. Because I mean, like it's one thing, when you got your Xbox and your PlayStation games acting a fucking fool because the developers are trying to program for two different architectures. But like for Switch games, especially first party Nintendo games on the Switch, I feel like there's no excuse why some of these games shouldn't be the way it is. So like I definitely want beefier hardware, but I also want to make sure there's even parity across the board for every game that comes out. Like all these games should play nice, especially if like the hardware is pointing to like it being like PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. Wait, One X is the inferior one, isn't it?
No, the One X is the most powerful Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, if we're looking in that era, hopefully we have people who are experienced enough with that type of architecture and era. We know that the APU in it, software, this SoC for it is basically going to handle all the computing plus the graphic power of it. Like, I haven't seen anywhere where it says like it's going to have a dedicated graphics card. So there's that.
Yeah.
So
well, we do know honestly, NVIDIA. They're working with NVIDIA again. So
yeah. But NVIDIA kind of scares me right now because NVIDIA is all about AI now. Like they seem to be moving. They seem to be moving past like computational graphics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is what everyone's known NVIDIA for like the longest time.
We're trying to get NVIDIA to our AI event right now. So I know what you mean.
Oh, so I should stop talking shit.
No, I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, I care because I'm employed, but I don't care I don't care what you say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. NVIDIA's not listening to this. What?
Oh, you never know. You never know. Someone tap you on your shoulder, Mr. Dirrig. Can we have a conversation with you at the back office?
It's fair.
Well, then Corey will be able to focus on Boss Rush.
We didn't like what that LeRon guy had to say about our product.
That's fair.
Next time he engages DLSS on his 3090, we got a surprise for him.
They'll be like, hey, he'll now be able to work on Boss Rush full time.
Yeah. Oh, yikes. DLS mess, am I right?
Honestly though, like I feel like the Switch 2 is going to be a big thing. I think it is. Is it going to be as big a thing as the Switch was? Time will tell, because like I feel like Nintendo does a great job with anomalies. Like the Wii was an anomaly. As far as sales go, the Wii U was an anomaly. and the Switch, man, if you told me a Nintendo system would outsell the PS4 in the entire PS4's lifetime, I'd have been like, you're fucking stupid.
I also think like you're gonna have to consider the tail of the Switch too, the way that the DS and 3DS kind of had tails. So I think the Switch is actually going to sell probably for at least maybe like tangible numbers, at least like maybe 6 months to a year at least after the new console's out. I think the biggest thing Nintendo needs to worry about is converting players. Like the hardcore Nintendo fans will go out and buy one right away or as soon as they can if they're available. That's the other thing in this article is like they're starting to manufacture them now, so they don't. One of the sources said they don't want to run into the same problem that Sony and Microsoft had with their current consoles of console shortages. I also heard a rumor that like you can buy them directly from Nintendo, but you have to have like some sort of Nintendo subscription to even put it in your cart to avoid scalpers. So
the Nintendo account
just basically go to Nintendo's website and make sure you're registered.
That's what I saw some places. I don't know how true that is.
Have an eShop account.
Yeah. But I wonder how, like, if people are happy with Mario Kart 8 and all these like DLCs, right? Like, are they really going to go jump on a new console if they're happy with that, or like happy with Tears of the Kingdom? Like the normal player probably won't even beat Tears of the Kingdom or do everything for like a year. I think the next console, man.
What the next console up-res is games like that.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
you read my mind because I was getting ready to say the best way to make sure you have sell-through of the new system backwards compatibility, which is still murky right now on that system, backwards compatibility and some type of up-resing or upscaling.
Mm-hmm.
Some type. It does. And you know what? The sad part is, like, us gamers, we're not even super picky about that. Like, like if we get like a half a bump in resolution, we will go after it.
Mm-hmm. I bought a
We will go
PS4
after
Pro and I didn't even care, right? I mean, you know what I mean?
you don't use the 4K HDR at all on your PS4 Pro.
No, I didn't even have a 4K TV. So at the
There
time,
it is.
So, I think they're going to have a little bit of an issue maybe converting people unless they have a launch lineup the way that the Switch did. I think they're going to launch the console with a new 3D Mario. I know we heard that Donkey Kong game was in development for a long time, but I don't think you can launch a console with Donkey Kong. No offense, DK.
No, I get it. Like, especially the follow-up to a very successful Switch. Like,
Mhm.
if you had a successful console and you want to at least be as strong, you don't choose. And another one too, like Metroid, great franchise. You might not want to
Mhm.
launch the successor to the Switch with it. I mean, maybe.
Mhm. Well,
but I would say Mario or a Zelda, but we're not getting Zelda.
I could see Metroid being launched to promote a more adult console.
But would it be the only launch? That probably not.
No,
Basically.
they got to launch with a Mario. I could actually see Mario Kart 9.
Launch with Mario.
I actually think Mario Kart 9 could launch within the first year. I know that the real, like the quote unquote real Mario Kart team has been working on the new Mario Kart for quite some time now. Because it was rumored to come to the Switch at some point, and then Mario Kart 8 was so successful that they put like their, junior team on making DLC for it instead. So I think a new Mario Kart's going to have a launch window release. I think Metroid Prime 4 is actually going to be some sort of cross-gen release.
Okay.
I think
Are you going to be on both systems?
Yeah, because no offense, like Metroid doesn't sell, so you're going to want to put it. You're going to want to have that game of like, this is the game that like showcases the new console, right? Look at these graphics, 60 frames a second, maybe online multiplayer or something.
You're putting a lot of hope on that.
I am. You know what? Let me be a dreamer, LeRon.
Nintendo shits on Metroid. I hate to say it.
Let me be a dreamer. But then
Pikmin's also gotten more love than Metroid.
Probably. But then you also want to like, you promised it for Switch, and that install base is like going to be probably around 135 million. So you're going to want to tackle that too. So, I don't know. The more and more I talk about this, the more and more I feel like this console is just going to be a Switch V2 or Pro or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
Let me make it even beautiful. Okay, let's say Nintendo decides to create peripherals or attachments that will bring back the retro style game. So I'll have like an attachment for 64, and it's almost like a retcon, but Nintendo brand. And then they can call it the Nintendo Switchback.
Oh no.
This show's over.
I hate this.
Let's go home.
Final thoughts on like a news. Oh, we gotta ask.
Yeah, I was like, did we address questions?
That was the whole reason we picked this topic. Discord. Remember, if you want to answer your questions, leave them in the Discord. When I remember to leave the thing in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So Thomas Mulkey asks, where will the new game cartridges go? Will they be native to the handheld portion or go into the home console portion? I think
what?
I mean, if it's like a Switch type thing, I imagine it's going to go in the console itself.
You mean,
I hope it goes in the console.
Is it going in the base?
Yeah.
Or is it going in the dock?
In the dock, I think, is the thing.
It's going in the base. That's where all the hardware is at.
Yeah.
That's where all the
Otherwise, you have to do streaming, and that I do not want.
No, we did that already.
To be a streamer.
It's called the Wii U. Get it out of here. Love the console. Love the games. Tablet sucked. I mean, I don't think it would hurt to have a little bit of processing power in the dock, though, especially when you hook it up to a TV.
It's too much money, though. It's too much money. That's too much money. Like if Nintendo wants the most bang for their buck, they're not going to give us all that additional hardware.
Yeah.
Plus you got to look at it. If the hardware is in two different spots, it's easier for someone to jailbreak it.
true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Give me an excuse.
Vicious.
Yeah. I still think it's going in the top of the Switch though, or the console.
Yeah, it's in the actual console itself.
Yeah, and depending on whether or not they're going to use the same size chip or not, it could be like a 3DS thing where they'll have the 2 slots there, one for if they want to do backwards compatible for physical for the Switch, like in one slot.
That would be so
Mhm.
nice, but the only problem is they would have to put just like how Sony ran into trouble with the PS3. They had to put 2 different chipsets in the in the launch PS3s to make it work.
Oh,
Not necessarily though. They did it with the DS and the 3DS. Those are 2 different chipsets.
It was all on the same chip though.
I mean, you put the cartridge in the same slot.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Or the DS that had the
Game Boy.
ability to do Game Boy Advance.
Actually, no. I feel like the 3DS and the 2DS were basically the same console. Just one had limitations.
They were the same console. We're talking about the DS, LeRon.
Yeah.
I could have sworn. Yeah. Okay. Like I must not have had enough caffeine today or something. I'm so sorry. Like I'm legit here. I'm legit here in this conversation. But this is like the 5th time tonight I've done this.
I don't know. I'm just messing with you, LeRon. But seriously, the DS is a different console from the 2DS, and the 2DS is a 3D-less 3DS. Keep up with that. Don't. By the way, naming conventions.
Don't forget the new 3DS, which had a better processor.
It's true, and a thumb nub.
a thumb nub.
Yeah, thumb nub.
Nintendo,
Not a stick.
DS.
It's just a nub that read your thumb and which way it was going.
A little nub.
The Nintendo DSi. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
What's so special about that one?
All right. The DSi had a better camera on it. All right. Our next question from One True James. He asks, what differences between the Switch and the next console do you want to see? What kind of hardware improvements do you want? We kind of touched on that a little bit.
I kind of already spoke.
Well,
about
and we'll say. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll read the last part.
I do not want it to be as big or as heavy as the Steam Deck. I don't. Keep it nice and light and pleasant.
No, they still
I
need
it to be
kids to be able to handle it. So yeah, I think it's gonna be it'll be within the same realm with the form factor of the Switch right now.
It better.
I don't know. Yeah. I need the new Switch to be bigger because those Joy-Cons do not fit my big boy hands. Those things are like so freaking.
Gave you a Pro controller.
Mm-hmm.
I know. But like when you do multiplayer, like you almost have to use the Joy-Cons.
No, you get a second Pro controller.
When you get like 4 players.
I have 4 Pro controllers. I'm fine.
Yeah, like the Switch supports what? The Switch supports like 5 of them, right?
8 of them.
I am a very anti.
It does do all 8?
Supposedly. I don't know. I've never tried. So.
Maybe the other people you're playing with have smaller hands and can use the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Be like, here, you use the crappy controller. I'm going to have this big guy.
We can tell Pat loved the Duke back in the day.
I love the Duke.
I've actually never played with the Duke.
I have a Duke on my shelf over there on display.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. The last question of this question is, what would you comfortably pay for it?
$400.
$399.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what's in it, right? I mean,
right, but I wouldn't want it to no matter what it has.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just finishing the sentence. Like, I just always want Nintendo to at least have an iteration of its console within a quote unquote affordable range.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Usually, it's got to be $100 less than whatever Sony and Xbox is.
Yeah, but the PlayStation 5 is going to drop to $449. So,
I think you're going to see it. I think you're going to see the Switch or the next console kind of compete with the Series S. I think it's going to be I think they're going to want to hit 350, but I think it's going to ultimately be 400. I think they are comfortable knowing
Switch is already like 330 usually. The OLEDs.
The OLED is 350 MSRP.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be higher than 350.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder if they're going to drop the Switch Lite to $99. How crazy would that be?
My thing is, I feel like they're going to just discontinue DS Lite, price drop the OG. I'm sorry, Switch. God damn, Switch Lite. They're going to drop this.
Man, I thought I was sleep deprived.
The DS Lite XL new.
God, Jesus Christ! I want to go to bed. I want to go home. All right, I am home, but whatever. I feel like they're most likely going to discontinue the Switch Lite. Give $100 markdown to the OG Switch, and the OLED. The OLED will sit at the three.
It's $350 right now, so $299.
The $299 price that gives room for the successor to either be $399 or $449.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to want to go over $449. It's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Are the Switch Lites even moving anymore?
Yeah.
Do they sell decent numbers?
Uh-huh.
They're the durable
I'm being for real. Do they sell decent numbers compared to the Switch?
I don't know, because it's they just count the sales as the Switch family of consoles. They don't tell you which ones are selling.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who had Switch Lites actually really liked them because of the fact that they were more durable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they were usually given to kids, or it was also that I don't have to dock it. I could just keep it around in my bed or travel and not have to worry too much about it getting damaged.
Yeah. I like it because it doesn't have Joy-Cons.
Why is am I like the only person that likes Joy-Cons or is okay with Joy-Cons?
Yes.
Wow.
I like the Joy-Cons attached
to
the system. If they're off the system, they are very unplayable.
Yeah, the Joy-Con is a rinky-dink looking little controller. It really is.
I hate those things.
You're a rinky-dink controller. Gosh.
Ooh.
Whoa.
All right. That seems like a good place to get out of here. It's going to get violent. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this extra long episode of the Boss Rush podcast. Remember, you can get this show 3 days early on Patreon for just $1 on Fridays, or you can catch it free on YouTube and podcast services on Mondays. You can follow us at Boss Rush Network, at Boss Rush Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are getting close, everybody, to that 500 sub mark, sort of. We'll be closer if you subscribe. So, anyways.
Guys. We'll call it the Switch Up.
I hate you.
Because it's an upgraded Switch.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and or listening. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye. I'm stopping this episode before
get me out of here.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. The Boss Rush Podcast is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. This show is produced, written, and directed by me, Corey Dirrig. My co-hosts are Stephanie Klimov, LeRon Dawkins, and Edward Varnell. You can find Stephanie at Klimov_author on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on the EXPcast. You can find LeRon at Exodus803 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, and also on Crossroads, the video game podcast. You can find Edward at ThatRetroCode on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting Nintendo Power Block. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IamCoreyInHD, and find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and co-hosting Nintendo Power Block. Find the Boss Rush Podcast on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.